Hello, good evening, and welcome to Blue Apple Tree Animation. That's what I call myself. I'm sticking with it. I also have blue underscore apple underscore tree underscore animation at Instagram. So, yeah, feel free to check me out there. If you have been, then you might have noticed I've posted a few things recently. I've been working on some new characters. I think we can see right now on screen we got these three ghostly looking crash test dummy characters. Um, I'm just gonna show off my new group of characters here and talk a bit about what I've been working on and a little bit about what I might be cooking up these days. You know, I've got a new idea. Maybe I go through too many new ideas. I was at a birthday party barbecue a few days ago, and someone said I need to finish something. So there is something to that. I gotta finish something, but sometimes you get inspired and your mind goes off to another place. So old ideas are old ideas. I don't think it was a waste of time. I feel like if you look back at my channel and check out my first videos, you'll see a bunch of characters and a bunch of ideas and a bunch of things that I shot out there. Everything I built, I think, sort of allowed me to get this idea and get it out quicker and get it to a place where I'm happier with quicker. So let's just get to the point now. Hopefully you've enjoyed my thumbnail, which I haven't made yet, but I have an idea for it, and hopefully it was cool and got people to watch the video. But and also I learned how to edit in Blender, so I will be editing this video a little bit if need be. At least putting my apple tree intro at the beginning. So let's get started here. So basically, I had an idea. I built out some base models. Um, and then I took those base models and my sort of idea was I want to do a kind of family sitcom type show. And I have, a mom, a dad, and two kids here, kind of roughly modeled out. That was my idea. And then I sort of fleshed it out and thought about it some more. I did some back and forth, and I came up with an idea for sort of two families to focus around for my sitcom. I'm still kind of humming and hawing and hammering out the ideas for what the basic plot is, but sort of the end goal of this project right now is to do like a sort of 90s, early 2000s style theme song kind of character introduction, sort of they all look at the camera and smile and their names underneath, sort of intro, and maybe animate a 30-second to max 1 minute cold open. Just a little funny scenario where some of the characters are interacting and, in a living room set or what have you. That's sort of what I'm going for. And the next step would be actually planning out a full pilot episode and writing, preparing that. Again, that's long time in the future. Short term, we're going to go through the characters. We're going to build some assets and we're going to, hopefully get a little, you know, 1 minute, 30-second music video character intro sort of thing. Kind of in the theme of those 90s shows, Family Matters, Step by Step, all those crazy. I actually wrote a list of the shows. So, you know, there's the list up there on screen. Full House, Full House, Family Matters, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Step by Step, Everybody Loves Raymond, Reba, if anybody remembers that show, Home Improvement, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, The Nanny, Frasier, Boy Meets World, and then a couple of newer ones, Eight Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughters, which I actually love that show. If you haven't seen that, the show was awesome. Awesome sitcom. And then Everybody Hates Chris. Those are sort of my 90s sitcoms inspirations. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have for the characters. So I didn't just stop here at these base models. I actually created some characters. So let's see how far we got. So we have some honorable mentions. We have a full family that I never used here, and we have a couple extra characters. Where'd this go? There it is. Oops, all the way over there. A couple characters here that I never used, but this is the next step. I sort of refined the base geo into some base characters here. Um, I created, again, I had no idea where I was going, so I just like, I'll create a white family, a black family, and an Asian family. Just three families, different sort of, race, culture, looks, and just narrow down where I was going from there. So I had just some base geo that I kind of shaped up. I actually had a whole white family here. Again, I just did some base geo, played with the forms, and was kind of like, okay. I mean, I called them the white family, but from there I broke it out into an Asian and a black family. But here we have these families here. So we just have some, some body shapes, some characters. That was going to be a mom. That was going to be a dad. This would be a teenage daughter, a little boy, or a girl. And this would be like another little boy or girl who's a little bit bigger. And that was sort of the basic family shapes I had. So I took these family shapes and I refined it further. I was actually wondering whether I should mention this or not, but I took these base shapes and I shot them into ChatGPT, and I got them just to give me some kind of rough textures that I could throw on top just for a texture test and just a bit of direction. So I finished that, and then I started putting together a little more character in the family. I broke up into, like I said, the Asian family and the black family. So we have our black family right here that I modeled up, and I put a rough texture on there, just a simple slap on texture, nothing too too crazy, just enough to kind of see a little more of what the characters might be. I did a proof of concept test for the hair, which I was actually pretty proud of. It's actually a custom geometry node setup here that basically puts the stylized curls on top of a very simple base shape here. See, I modeled a simple base shape in the shape of the mom's hair, subdivided it, added the geometry nodes, subdivided it again, and I really was happy with this shape here. Now, just a quick peek at the geometry node. Since we're here, maybe someone's watching this and maybe they're like, oh, how'd you do that? Ah, crap. Please tell me. Okay, a big tutorial is not something I can do, but I am going to show you under the hood here. It's got a bunch of settings you can adjust here. And then if I switch to my geometry node editor, geometry node editor, you're gonna see the controls there leading into my outputs. I'm just gonna bring it up here. I'm gonna essentially, if somebody wants to copy this, I'm gonna bring it up kind of big on the screen here. Encourage you to take a snapshot, bring in these nodes, connect them up, and play with this setup. Essentially what I did is I went on YouTube and I searched bubble wrap geometry nodes. I found a geometry nodes bubble wrap. I kind of built that and then I modified it a bit to look more like the style of hair I wanted. So as you can see, this section here just creates that a bubble wrap texture, very uniform texture, essentially like it sounds like bubble wrap. A little bit of variation is there in the bubble wrap too that you can adjust. As you can see, I have my group output. I've grabbed those values to do the curl sizes, and I've grabbed the value, the scale of this geometry node here into the all curl size, and I have a selection here to do vertex group to only apply to a certain section of the geometry if needed. So you can see here how this is built. Please take a picture, and if that's of use to you, amazing. Happy to help. And that section, again, just goes into a little simple displacement setup here. And again, this adds some more variation to the hair to kind of randomize it. And again here, you can see I've got displacement randomized, a little bit of curl volume there to increase the volume of the curls, a displacement scale. This is just makes it so it's not uniform, so the curls kind of have bumps and kind of some more shape, not just uniform bubble wrap looking hair, even though it is kind of bubble wrap looking. And then the final thing is I kind of threw that into a set position, and this is again to bubble wraps thrown into a set position just to adjust the main geometry that we're pulling from here. As you can see, it comes in, the mesh goes in through all the way to the set position, which then gets adjusted again as a sort of a displacement layer to randomize it again, and then out. So yeah, that's it. Another full screen there. Hopefully it's big enough if you want to do a full copy. That's it. That's my setup. So for those that see that and think it's cool, there you go. Enjoy. Let's go back to my what was it called again? This is in Bear. 3D viewport. Boom. Okay, so back to the viewport. Again, we got our characters. As you can see, that's a simple geometry. I'm keeping things pretty low poly with a smooth subdivision on them. At this point, we'll see if I go from there. As you can see, very simply shaped characters, hopefully well proportioned, well designed, I hope. There's still some stuff I want to do. For example, I think I'm going to need to merge the nose into the head. That's something I'm going to work on. Let's take back to the shaded mode because I think it's prettier. So there we go. We got it. We got our family. Thank you, ChatGPT and Pinterest, and yeah, a lot of trial and error. Yeah, that helped. I used both of those to help me get there. I think this is somewhat unique. Hopefully, this isn't stolen from someone's art by accident with AI. But I think I did enough back and forth and enough editing of the characters and the shapes that, yeah, I can't draw that well, but hopefully I was able to create something somewhat unique here. So that's it. There are my characters. Looking at my teenage boy, I think his arms up here are a little bit thick. I'm going to bring those down. I've been doing some passes in the characters over and over to kind of get their shapes looking right and everything looking proportioned up. But there they are. They're just family in a swimsuit. There we go. I also added a simple shader there to it. So let's just do that. It's a simple toon shader. It's got a light, a shadow. Again, it's still in progress. The specular here, I think, needs to be broken up, more stylized. A few other things I want to work on in the shader as well. But it's just a pretty simple little toon shader I've got on here. And there we go. Another video, I'll go into more detail. I think, of course, because the texture is so rough, it's hard to finish the toon shader completely. But yeah, it needs some work in the hair, it needs some work in the specular. A bunch of things need work because these projects take a long time. Okay, so that's my my black family there. Again, this hair I'm very proud of. It's probably the thing I'm most proud of because basically all I had to do was model a piece of geometry in the rough shape of the hair and then apply this geometry nodes, and boom, we get a little afro going on there. And I think that's going to work for all my black characters. Should hopefully be able to build some hair pretty quickly. All right, let's close down my black family and open up my Asian family. And then we have my Asian family there. Again, we got a mom, a dad, teenage daughter, a little boy, and a little girl. Same shader on them, same basic toon shader. Again, I won't complain about the issues with it. Texture's rough, obviously, pixelized, some side issue. I just quickly projected the textures onto the geometry just to get a idea for the characters before I move forward. And I've, again, been working on just tweaking the shapes, making sure the silhouettes look good, making sure all the lines look good, and everything's sort of the way I want it to look. I've been kind of poking at that for a while. This hair is done pretty simply. It's we'll go to edit mode. We have a curve. Is it called a curve? It's a NURBS path curve. Add NURBS curve. Right? NURBS path curve with a curve to tube modifier on there, which is a quick way just to give the shape this geometry. And then the profile of the geometry, it says profile there, is driven by this little arrow shape here, just to give it a hair shape. And I've kind of made the hair up of those shapes. So as you can see, I've tried to keep it simple as I can, but yet still get a good form. Believe it or not, I modeled the hair way too many times. But I think it's holding up. I think it's getting to a good place. And there we go. Let's go. Item. Let's just bring that back down. Bring the hair back. Same thing with the mom. They're all made of those curves. And that's how I'm going to move forward to do the kid's hair. Similar way. I'm sure you can imagine. Oh, look. I'm a teenage daughter with hair now. Her hair won't be like that. I'm going to give her unique hair that fits her head, but you can... there you go. You can kind of imagine they're all going to have their hair in that style. Okay, there we go. That is the Asian family. And there's a little example of the shader. It's a test. And there we go. That is basically where I'm at. And I actually did come up with a rough story, which I'm not going to go into this video. But when I came up with the story, I realized that in order to make this story work, we needed a grandma. So I quickly, actually just today, made this grandma character. Basically, I took the mom, threw some lattices on the mom's body, and then I threw another rough texture on there of the grandma. I just mocked up a texture very quickly. It was like, GPT, give me a grandma, here's my base mesh. And it kind of threw a grandma texture on there in a bathing suit, which is kind of weird. I'm sure ChatGPT is like, why are you asking me for a grandma in a bathing suit? Well, they're going to the beach, maybe. In reality, I am going to put clothes on them at some point, but I'm just starting for the shape language of the characters and trying to build up a look for my show. So I'm going to keep going forward with this. It's all I have to show right now, pretty much. I guess the plan, as you can see, the eyes are actually textured on right now, but I am going to go in and put grandma by her son there. Isn't that sweet? Grandma and son. Okay. I have this eye here that I've got roughed out. a quick texture I was playing with for the eye, for the color of the eye, the pupil. As you can see, these don't have colored pupils. Again, it's a rough texture, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to rig a set of eyes and eyebrows and the mouth, and I'm going to use that setup on all the characters, so they're all going to get the same eye setup, and there'll be some sort of lattice modifier to slightly change the shape of the eyes for the characters, because as you can see, these aren't perfectly spherical eyes, but they're close. So I think I'm just going to take a little a little lattice and just push the eyes into a appealing shape for the characters. There we go. So yeah, here's my eye setup. They're actually just simple as it gets. They're basically just planes. They're planes set up. Let me just throw the numbers on. There's planes set up and layered in a way so they work. And for the eyelid blinking, I've actually just got a simple Boolean here. So I've got this geometry in here like this. It's going to control the blink. And then the speck can be moved. The eye can just be moved like this within the eye. And eventually I'll put a Boolean in there to stop it from cutting through. But once I do the final rig. And that is the pupil, which I don't think will be moving the pupil, but basically the pupil is textured onto the eye using a shader setup. What shader setup did I use to this? Yeah, check out Lightning Boy Studios, their 2D face rig setup. I kind of use that as inspiration to create this 2D flat eye. If I remove this Boolean, you'll see it's just another plane stood up here. So it's simple, but I think it's going to give, and this is going to be an eyebrow. Again, this is another step is to rig these and get the eyes sort of flush on the characters' faces. Yeah, that's it. So there is a lot to do, but I think we're going in a good direction. I would say I'm pretty happy with it. I think we're going to end the video right here. Thanks for watching. This has been a long one. Let's just end this video by putting the families together side by side here. Just lining them up for the final video. Here we go, for the final little end of my video. That is my cast of characters right there for my family sitcom that I'll be doing, featuring, well, I'll be doing a cold open to it and a theme song. Eventually, obviously, I'd like to do a whole pilot episode, but we're gonna start one step at a time because it is a long project. This stuff takes a while, but I enjoy it. I'm having a great time. So I look forward to putting out my next video. Hope you enjoyed a look at the characters I'm working on. Hopefully no one's too triggered by the fact that I pop back and forth between AI for some help with a little bit of character design, a little bit of rough texture. Hey, I can't use Photoshop. I don't have Photoshop on my computer. If I did, I bet you that would be easy to mock up, or if I knew how to use it. But, you know, I took a shortcut. I've learned enough Blender where I just want to push forward. Maybe I'll dig into a Photoshop-like program in the future for mocking up some more specific images. I might have to. But for now, we're just working with what we got. A quick tip here. As I don't know Blender perfectly, there's a lot I'm learning. A really cool thing I like to do with GPT or any AI, I like to keep the voice mode on, available to me on my iPad here, and as I'm working through it, if I run into an issue like, oh, my texture is not tiling correctly, or how am I going to get this geometry node to work with the hair? I'm running into this problem. You can just, in plain English, ask ChatGPT how to solve it. Hey, ChatGPT, I'm working in Blender 5.0 and I'm trying to do this. How do you think we can do it? Or where's that button that you can Boolean something with? I'm trying to do a cutout. Generally, it'll point you in the right direction. Sometimes it gives you a spot on answer, but generally it does point you in the right direction. If it doesn't right away, you just tell it you're having trouble and say, can you take me through step by step? Mention the version of Blender you're working on so it pulls the right information. And yeah, it's been really useful. It's almost been having a interactive instruction manual. If you remember those big giant books that these softwares used to have, that used to tell you how they work, these like 500,000 page books, or even the websites which like a bunch of different pages how to use all the tools in the software. It's tough to go through them and search them and find the right answer. Sometimes just asking an AI platform how to use the software will get you a quick answer pointing in the right direction. All right, that's it for the day. It's been a long video. I hope this is enjoyable, and I look forward to continuing to show the progress and show where this is going. Yeah, it's been a blast. Actually, no, I'm just thinking right now. I actually have an idea, something I want to show you. If you're still around and been listening to me yammer, this is another interesting thing that I messed with here. So let me just get out here, and let me just go into let's see if I can find it. Let me save. Oh my God! Clearly, I'm not prepared. We're gonna go File. We're gonna go Save Increment. We're just gonna go File, Open. It's gonna open one of my earlier files. Right here, I'll take a look at. Here's an earlier version as I was working on my base message, trying to figure out putting arms on and putting feet on. Let's see, File, Open. I'm looking for a specific, let's hope this one has it. There's some rough images there again that I was using to throw all my models to get an idea to where I might be heading. Let's go there. Reference Geo. These actually are, I actually took some of my early concept art that I got out of an AI program. You can see this looks nothing like my characters currently, but I actually threw an old concept image into I can't remember the website, but it was a image to 3D model generator, and I actually got just some rough base meshes out of there. As you can see, if you look at the lines, it's very it's a mess as far as topology goes. But I grabbed it just so I can get a rough idea for scale, a rough idea for shape. And I took that and I kind of started modeling a base mesh, kind of using this as a bit of a guide just to make sure proportions were on, to check to see if the shape was on. But as you can see, what we've got here looks not very good, and is not what my final characters look like. So, I mean, AI is a controversial thing. I realize artists don't like it, and it's insulting to some people, but I'm finding it interesting. I'm using it where I can, and I like to think that I'm using it in iterative fashion. So by the end of this project, when I'm finished my characters, they're going to look nothing like what the original kind of rough generated images were. They're going to kind of make them my own. But it's always exciting, actually. If I finish a base mesh, or if I finish a character model to a certain point, it's kind of fun to stick those screenshots of your model into AI. Like, hey, I built this. Let's take a look. How do you think I can change this? What do you think is a rough concept for a texture and just give me some variations in shape and size, and just see kind of what AI spits out. So my process have kind of been come up with an idea, shoot it into AI, get some rough images out, bring it into Blender, do some modeling, do some tweaking, move things around, look at it, take what I got, stick it back into AI, ask it to generate some more images, bring it back into Blender, model some more, adjust some more, and hopefully by the end of the process, I have some pretty original characters that don't look like AI slop, which is what I think these characters might look like. If they don't look like it, they are, because I stuck them into an AI model generator. But yeah, fun stuff to play with. Again, just kind of going through my process. As you can see here, we have a lattice. I was changing the shape of the model. I believe this was probably a little more exactly like sort of the shape of this, and I stuck into lattice and I started to change it. And again, big process. I think this was another version I stuck in. These two, I was starting to do, hey, so I have the idea, hey, what if we had a black family? What might they look like? So I got that sort of popped out in there. But yeah, that's it. Okay, that was my bonus. I've talked forever. God knows I could just keep talking, but we'll throw this up on YouTube and we'll see what happens. If you've made it this far, I'm surprised. Throw a comment at the bottom there. Again, I have very few followers, so if you make a comment on my video, I'm probably going to answer you. If you want me to go in more detail about something, I'll be more than happy to make a video about that. Very cool stuff. Anyways, have a great night. I'm going to get to bed, and I wish everybody the best. Cheers.